word. Look at that. Yeah. Anyway, good morning, YouTube. I just sat on my back massager that I found at a secondhand store. It was new in the box. Anyway, yeah, my back's tore up because Sheena's got me doing all these exercise videos. Like I've done 3 in 10 days. She's got me doing all this work, like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, like 3 times. I know, man. She's an exerciser, man, Creator moms, she's got her shit together in that area. Like hardcore, She's a boss. Anyway, so this thing fell on my feed this morning, and I'm like, the tragedies around the world are so numerous that when you are a person that has been through the grind as a child and trained to live in the right brain, which is, oh my God, fight, flight, or freeze, or frick fire, or whatever the fawn, and it is a fart and fuck, and it's everything, man. What are we going to do next? We're going to fix it. Anyway, a lot of F's in there. So I'm looking at this video. I'm going to link it. Not that anybody has to watch it necessarily, but I mean, whatever, my point is, if you wanted to look at it, but you don't have to look at it. It's about, we know that we left a bunch of Afghan people behind when we abandoned Afghan. These people were hanging on the jet and shit. And people are like, oh no, was this Photoshopped? Are you sure? I don't know. There was some stuff that looked pretty fucking awful. Because they know they're going to get, how many have gotten slaughtered since they were left? Our allies, people that helped us, our nation, they thought they were helping us. They were doing what the Americans wanted. Whoever the hierarchy was, I know they probably weren't helping us, but they thought they were. I mean, people believe in it. Well, because what the U.S. was telling them, or whatever the military and the government was telling them was, we're going to make things better for you than what's going on now. So they work for them for 30, 40 years, and then they just freaking just be like, peace out, bitches. And then the Afghani comes and just boom, 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 kills all these friends of ours. Absolutely horrifying. And when you have a mindset like mine that is like save everyone, or, you are unsavable yourself, like you have to, every person you come in contact with, Karen, if they don't know Jesus by the time you walk away from their presence, you have failed. You have failed your mission. You're failing, because clearly you're not living for Christ enough to, woo these people to him, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, the pressure is so extreme. Oh, my God. And then to think I'm going to sit here and how can I have a good day? This has been one of my main problems in life. How am I supposed to have a good day when people in Afghan are getting freaking shot when they're found for helping my government, when they thought my government was going to help them? How do I have a good day and exercise my body and ice my back and give myself a pedicure and scrub my skin and put some moisturizer? How do I do these things for my selfish, self-centered activities, when there's probably hungry people in my town, or 100 pit bulls tied to crack house walls like Cookie, but I'm going to leave them there, because out of sight, out of mind. Do you know the guilt and the shame that lives in the hearts and minds of people like me, who have been raised to believe that they weren't worth the breath in their lungs, that we have to move through every day, dealing with the guilt and shame that we're living over here with an ice pack on our sore back while the world's burning to the ground. Children are being trafficked. I see that's the main thing. It took me 7 years, 7 years of therapy to realize this is what it is, Dave. I wake up every day and I'm just like, oh my God. Not that I try not to consciously think about it. How dare you try to put these starving people out of your mind, you selfish bitch. This is the things that go through my mind. That's why I had great difficulty going on vacation to the Caribbean area and laying on the beach while these guys and gals in long sleeves and long pants. They weren't even breaking a sweat, though, I got to admit. They were like, they were okay in 110-degree weather, skipping around for $8 a day. That's what they were getting paid. And I tell you, every time they hand you a drink, you give them $1, $1. You try to drink 20 drinks a day, so they get 20, but you just keep giving them money because you just feel like, God, how dare I be laying to be like, why don't you rub my feet? What the fuck am I thinking? I wouldn't dare go for a massage. Well, that's what they're standing there getting paid for. It's so, I don't know how to deal with the class war in my head, or what is that what it is? There's a class war. I don't like it. I think there's my insides want things to be equal and even for everyone, which is fine in my mind of my perfect world. My Karen's Eden, Karen Boom Boom's Eden is everyone has, a moral code. What's that moral code, Karen? Can you have sex before marriage? Can you have sex outside of marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not kill each other. Like, let's pause for a moment before we act around others to, attempt not to, hurt others, but yet at the same time not hurt ourselves, and let's move through the world and be. There's no one moral code. People can say, well, that wasn't right. That wouldn't be right in this culture. Well, you wouldn't do that in this other culture. I know. See, that's the problem. It is murky. There is black and white. I mean, there is gray areas. I'm sorry. But I just do think there's like black and white. But sometimes you're hit with things and you're like, wow, I hadn't thought about all that criteria. Like affecting this black and white decision. Anyway, I'll get into that later. That's a whole nother video. Oh, excuse me. So I drugged myself with my double cup of coffee and, processed, homogenized, pasteurized creamer. But it didn't have the gar gum or any of the gums in it. They claim. Food Lion. I know, right? So I'm still consuming this shit that is forming this mucus buildup in my sinuses because, I'm dumber than a brick. No, I'm running. I guess there's a program in the right brain that's running that says, you can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. You're a loser. Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. You can't put up with cravings. You can't put it. I did it for 2 weeks, a month and a half ago? 2 solid weeks. Certainly, I can do it again for another 2 solid weeks. And, in fact, if I did it for 2 solid weeks, I can do it for 4 solid weeks, right? But see, as soon as I fell off that wagon, I immediately ate like a pan of cornbread every day or every other day for almost a month and gained about, 7 or 8 pounds of glushy, like lymph fluid, fatty crap, like dangling in pockets around my knees, around my lower back. I mean, it was just building up under my arms. I'm just like going, and the hot flashes are building. I'm going, why do I do this to myself? Self-sabotage, y'all. Let's stop it. So let me keep working on this. I'm going to look into the exercises, the FFTT or whatever it is. I'm going to open those the papers that Dave gave me. God dang it, Dave, with all the papers. And I'm going to look this up because I'm guaranteed it's online and there's like little methods and little things. Little exercises such as cold water, ice cold rag or whatever on your face. But you have to, like at the top of your face and over your nose, but you have to hold your breath apparently because that signals to your brain that you just dived underwater. And it changes, it switches your brain from the right to the left because you can't be emotional. If you just fallen into the icy water of the Arctic Sea, your autonomic nervous system says, beep, we're going to go into left brain so that you can think logically and get yourself the fuck out of here. It's really interesting how that works. And we all saw in the old movies when they let one woman get hysterical, their friend or mother or grandmother would be like, go splash some cold water on your face. I always wondered what the hell that was for. I didn't know. Now I do. We got to start thinking about maybe we should try the cold rag on the face just for unpleasant thoughts that are looping that aren't that extreme. Anything going through our mind that we don't like, man, let's just slap that cold rag on. I mean, let's give it a whirl, like, right? Let me try that today. I know, I'll talk about it for 10 years and I'll finally do it once. This is the problem. It's a sabotage thing. Anyway, I'm going to get to the bottom of this bitch before I turn 60. That gives me 3.5 years. Peace out, YouTube.